Hello and welcome to this explainer video from Dovetail Software, highlighting some of our HR service delivery features. First, we're going to look at creating a case on behalf of another employee. Then we're going to look at capturing more data for that case through the use of custom fields. We'll look at case automation through workflows. And then we'll finish with some out-of-box reports and looking at the report builder that's built into the Dovetail platform. Okay, before we look at creating a new case on behalf of another employee, let's first look at the HR Console. Now, this is the home page for the HR user using Dovetail. They'll come into this screen and they'll see on the left-hand side what we call the table of contents. They can see all of their open cases they own, cases that are in queues. They can see all of the queues they're a member of. They can see labels. These are colored labels, allow you to classify the cases. They can see favorite queries, and then they can click and see all of the queries they've created. On this section here on the right, I can see a list of cases. These happen to be the cases open within the last 10 days. I can scroll along to the right and I can see all these different columns. As a user, I can configure this screen, move columns around. I can sort by different columns. I can export this list by downloading it. And I can also share this query with other users, departments, work groups, or just share with every Dovetail user. I can also do batch actions. So I could take all of these cases here, for example, and decide to close them or change the status, or perhaps redact them, which is part of the GDPR functionality. If I go now look at a case. If we look here, we're on the Create Case page of the Dovetail system. This is if you were going to enter a manual case on behalf of an employee. Cases can also come into Dovetail over 4 other channels. An email could come in and create or update a case. A case could come from the employee portal. A case can come from live chat. And the case can also come via our API toolkit. So third-party applications can create cases for you as well. In this example, I'm going to create a case where an employee called Betty has phoned in with a complaint about her manager. So this will be a grievance case. So I'll start to type in those details. Betty has an issue with her manager, wants to file a grievance. And as you'll see, as I start to type in my question title, on the right-hand side, we have instant knowledge base answers coming up. This gives me access to knowledge base articles that could help me solve the employee question, or at least give guidance to the employee based on company policy. Here, I'm going to select the employee in question here, Betty. I could have typed in first name, last name, employee ID, the email address. It also shows me if they're an active employee or not, and it will also show me if they're a contingent worker. Next, I'm going to search for the employee's manager. I can confirm the employee manager with Betty on the phone, but I could also check using these 3 dots here. This will expand and show me all of the information that the HR system is providing to Dovetail about this individual. So I can see here that it's Logan McNeil. I can now look for Logan. And I can select Logan here. Again, I have the 3 dots for Logan, the more info button, and I can see all of that information as well. Also, I can see at the top here, 2 new tabs have appeared, previous cases for Betty and previous cases for Logan. This allows me to see any cases that have been recently created that I have access to. This helps you avoid creating duplicate cases because you have instant access to the most recent cases this employee has logged, regardless of channel, whether it's email, phone, portal, chat, etc. So next, I will select the case type. This is an employee relations issue, so I'll select employee relations, and I will then select grievance. The drop-down values in Dovetail are all controlled by the customer. They can change these whenever they need to, and they can add as many levels as they would like. What you may have spotted is this additional details suddenly appear. These are custom fields based on the type of case that I've selected. For a grievance case, these are the sorts of items that you would like to capture. For example, I could enter in the date when this occurred, how many times it's happened, where did this occur, And I could select if anyone else had witnessed this, is this ongoing, and so on. You can control what questions you would like to appear here and the types of questions. Here I can enter the notes. I can enter screenshots. I can enter spreadsheets and paste them in. I can also specify if this is a sensitive case. Now, through Dovetail Workflow, the case can automatically be tagged as sensitive if the case type is grievance, for example. Top right here, I have access to different labels. I might want to add one of these labels. It just helps me categorize the case for later use. It also locks down the case, so only certain people can see it. And next, I'm just going to hit create and create that case. So what I have now is a case that's been created. I have a case ID number. And I can also see on here who this case refers to. So Betty is the caller and it's concerning employee Logan. I always have access to that information here about the individual. This time though, this information is point in time data. So this data will stay with the case for the duration of the case. So Logan will always be shown here as the manager of Betty every time you look at this case. I could now work the case. I could dispatch it. I could assign it. Assigning is going to an individual, dispatch is going to a team, or I could close this case out if I've resolved it. I could also log emails and notes. I can have other team members collaborate with me on this case as well. Okay, now we're going to look at an email coming into Dovetail that creates a case automatically through workflow. It then gets tagged with a certain case type and is then sent to a certain area where team members can pick that case up. So here's an example of an email coming in. I'm just about to send this email acting as Logan. Logan had a missing payment in her recent payslip. So here's the email I'm sending it to. Here's the subject line. Here's the text. When I hit send on this, it's going to go to the Dovetail system. Dovetail is going to pick it up. It's going to read the incoming email. It's going to create a brand new case for Logan. And it's also going to note that there's the word pay mentioned in the email itself, and will automatically apply some workflow to update that case. So if we go to the console page here and look at cases created today, we can see the case that's just come in, case 2588. We can see it's been received a few seconds ago. Here's that email. You can see it's been created for Logan McNeil. I can click on the three dots and see information about Logan here. I can look down here and see that an SLA has been automatically applied. I need to respond within 2 hours on this particular SLA. I can then see some other bits of information here. I can see that the case type has automatically been changed to payroll general question, and I can see it sitting in the email payroll queue. So some automation has already been applied to this case. Now, how do you know that that's actually going on? If I go to these three dots here, there's a show more button. This is going to expand the timeline and show you all the things that have happened on this case from the moment it was received. So here you can see it came in, it got an SLA assigned to it, a keyword was found, the word pay was found in the actual email itself. So then it got dispatched to the email in payroll queue. The case type was then changed to payroll general question. So once the case was sent to the payroll team, they were all notified that a new case had arrived, and now they can take action. So if I were to go back to the console here, I can see email in payroll. I can see that 2588 case in there, and I could do other things here. I could actually pull out the preview. I could look at some information about that case, see if it's one that I could work on. In this example, I'm going to click the link and open up the case. First thing I'm going to do is accept this case. This is a case that I'm going to work on. So first I accept it. You can see that Annie that I'm logged in has accepted the case. And now I'm going to refine the case. I can see in the email here that there was a missing payment. So I want to update the case type. So I click on edit. I can see the case type here is currently general question. So now I'm going to select missing payment and click update. In the timeline here, it shows the full audit trail. So I can see who changed that case type, when did they do it, what was the old value. And just to point out again that most users would have the timeline down to this minimized view. You don't always need to see who did it, when did they do it. Those sorts of things are really important when you have to investigate how long a case took and you want to see where bottlenecks are. But general day-to-day use, it would look like this. So here I've changed the case type to missing payment, and let's perhaps that I've picked this up and I need to pass it to the next team now. So when I click workflow and dispatch, this is an automated workflow that's about to kick in. Because it's a payroll case and it's now a missing payment, it needs to go to the incorrect payments queue. Now I perhaps don't know where it needs to go next, so Dovetail is pre-programmed with your workflow, and this is something that customers can do themselves. No code or anything like that, it's just through configuration. So I hit on dispatch, and you'll see here it doesn't give me any opportunity to select where I want it to go because there are workflow rules in the background that know it needs to go to the incorrect payments queue. And now the case is being passed down the line for the next person to work on. Okay, let's head over to the out-of-box reports and the report builder. This is accessed from the menu here under reports. A new tab will open and you'll see the getting started window. We have over 8 hours of online training from basic report writing to advanced report writing built into the application and available here. We also have an online help guide that will walk you through the steps of creating a report and teaching you how to create formulas and build formulas. Okay, let's first look at a dashboard example. And here is an example of a dashboard that's tied to a user. So no matter who runs this dashboard, it's going to show results for that logged in user. Dashboards can also be drillable. So I can click on one of these items, for example, open in queue. I can see the 2 cases that are open there. And I can even click on these and drill into the actual case record itself. Here's the example of the case we were looking at a moment ago. Now let's look at an out-of-box standard report. Here's an example of a Dovetail report that's showing the cases that are currently open by the origin. So which channel did they come via? So this is often email, manually entered, chat, for example. You can also see on my report, I have things like building access assessment, health screen tool, Workday. So third-party products can create cases in Dovetail using the Dovetail API, and you can capture the origin of that case. Looking on down, you can see it's a pretty standard report. We've got some columns here. I can see the case ID. I can click on these as well. And I can also click on the employee name and it will open up and show me that employee details. If I go back into the report, what I might want to do is make this my own. Maybe I want to put my own logo or change the color scheme. I can do some on-the-fly changes. Maybe I want to change to a particular donut chart, for example, so I can do that just as a user. But maybe I want to save this and brand it as my own or add in some new columns. So let me show you how easy that is. Dovetail ships with about 50 out-of-box reports. You can see all the lock icons here, and we go into lots of different categories. And so let's go find this one, which is the open case by origin. And all I have to do is right-click and duplicate. Select a new area. I've got the explainer series folder here. And I will add in a new file name for it. And then if I scroll up, I can see it here. Now, if I double click on this report, you'll see the actual report builder itself. So here is how I can make changes and save those changes. So if I wanted to change the color scheme here, I can simply just select a new color scheme. I could double click on the actual graph and go into the graph builder. So now I can change the type of graph. So for example, let's choose that one. And I can change which data is being represented on the graph here. I can change the appearance. So maybe I want to change to a different color. So let's choose sandstone. I also could enter in a custom range. So using hex values, I could enter in my company's brand color scheme. And now I'll just hit finish so you can see that there. And then I can even add additional columns if I want to. So we've got the case ID and case title. It doesn't look like we've got the case type in there. So simply look for case type on the left-hand side here and drag it on. And I'm going to use a trick of copy paste and then just change to case type. And now when I run this report, you'll see that I've got the case ID, I've changed the colors, and I've also got the new case type being pulled through as well. And then I can start to adjust and tweak these values to get it just how I want, and then save that report for later reuse. That concludes this video. As you've seen, we've gone through creating a case on behalf of another employee. We captured more data during that case lifecycle with the additional fields, the custom fields. We looked at some automation through workflow where a case came in over email about a missing payment and it went to the right team. And we then looked at some out-of-box reports and the report builder. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, please reach out. Take care.